God damn it, Byrne.
Somebody share with me.
Toadman Byrne.
Son of a bitch.
Hurry up, Leo.
Hold on.
You are, in fact, watching The Dorkening.
You're watching The Dorkening. Stay tuned.
For all the geek news everywhere. Dorkening.
And this is The Dorkening. Trust me, I'm smarter than these guys.
Because the Dorkening is the best and most educational entertainment and information source that the Trauma team knows of. It's the best. The Dorkening.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for, and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey, welcome to Splash Pages, powered by the Dorkening Podcast Network. We have a kick-ass show for you. And as always, well, I keep on forgetting. My name's Leo. I'm the monkey behind the keyboard. Velvet Joker. How's it going, bud?
It's going as usual. Here we are every Tuesday night on the award-winning Splash Pages, a comic book club podcast. And we're here to have a good time tonight. We're going to take it way back to my youth and another guy's youth who's over here or over there. Over there. I don't know. Anyway, so what we're talking about is the She-Hulk. The Savage? Nope. The Sensational She-Hulk. The John Byrne era. That's what we're talking about. Versus the TV show on Disney Plus, 2 episodes.
Cutscene.
Mr. Drew.
Yeah, I'm just here for the inevitable crossover event between us and Retro Octopus and all the other shows. It's going to be a crisis of infinite nerds. We're looking
Hell
forward to the show,
yeah.
everyone.
Jar Jar.
Hey, so as Rich said, we're going way back, but not as far back as I went, because I went all the way back to Savage She-Hulk.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, sensational speed reading.
Hell yeah. And the most awesome from Retro Redoctopus himself, Parasite Steve.
Wow, he got
Hey guys, how's it going? Sorry, I don't know what happened there. Hey, how's it going? I'm ready to talk some Sensational She-Hulk with
Why
y'all.
don't you
Thank
guys
you for
just-
having me on.
Do you guys just keep
You're very
pushing that
welcome.
it's
You're very
sensational?
welcome.
It's
sir.
it's sensational. It's sensational.
It's
That
sensational.
doesn't even make sense, but I said it.
Definitely not savage.
She is kind of a savage. You know, Jar Jar, I don't think it's a terrible thing personally that you read the older book. I've never read the Savage book. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about why it failed and got rebooted completely differently
Oh, because it was horrible.
at some point.
Absolutely.
Throwing that out there.
The writer like explained everything in every single panel. Like was like, and every trope was thrown at you. You had like bad guy with a pet snake, who also had an underground lair. Who like the father was like going after, didn't know his daughter was. It's like, oh my god, can we please write something original? But maybe back then that was, I don't know. I wasn't there back then, so maybe it was original back then. But like, oh my god, it felt like every trope was used for this, and oh. So
Difficult to read.
zero
It's hard to read.
crowbars for no. I won't say zero because the art was kind of interesting, but yeah.
Well,
You know,
interesting
agreed.
indeed. You know, we've talked about this prior, but the creation of She-Hulk is just so friggin' ridiculous. It's like
Mhm.
so for those that don't know, in Savage She-Hulk #1, she's a lawyer. She's going out trying to figure out you know, where the bad guys are. Essentially, she gets shot in the back. And Bruce Banner, her cousin, instantly goes, "She needs a blood transfusion."
Yeah.
Not like, you know, not
Runs
like
through like
ooh, there's
I'm
a,
gonna do this. It was fucking ridiculous.
yeah, it was. But I mean, no, like, oh,
And-
trying to get the bullet out or trying to like seal the wound, just instantly
Straight
blood.
to the transfusion.
Oh yeah.
Straight to the transfusion.
Yeah.
Never mind, like she called her cousin Doc the whole time. Like
okay, football. It's all right.
yeah, she was like Doc. I'm like, hold on, Bruce would be okay. Like some weird cousin.
You
name
are
would be okay.
related.
Yeah, I'm like, but Doc. I'm like, that
Yeah.
sounds so impersonal. I was like, I don't understand what's going on in this at all.
You know what? This brings up an excellent point that I've learned in the Marvel Universe is you cannot accept any blood given in the Marvel Universe because it's the chance.
Oh,
it's
definitely don't.
It's full of gamma radiation or something. It's the same thing with Spider-Man. That one time Aunt May needed a blood transfusion. Peter's like, oh, I'll do it. Doesn't think, my God, my blood is irradiated and could
Tainted.
kill this old woman. And then, oh, how convenient. There is an isotope that can help her. But, oh, the Sinister Six. I was like, oh, boy. There's a lot of Marvel. The House of Coincidences.
Yeah, comics back then, you know, hey, you know, it you know, comics are comics. But yeah,
we even read that in the Flash and Superman when like they just came up with like Aquaman can send out his mind to a space fish that talks to Flash, so Flash now knows what's going on. It's like, what?
Hey Leo, I feel kind of like we have to let our viewers know. I invited Steve on the show because I learned that he's a big fan of She-Hulk as well as I am, and we got introduced to Steve over at Terrificon, where we all had a table and we were promoting the Dorkening Podcast Network. And apparently, Mr. Van Samson not only has a podcast, but he is a writer. And he has a new book. What's that? Black Honey, Blood Honey? Tell us about it, Stephen.
Oh, thanks, Rich. I wasn't gonna even talk to it, but talk about it. Okay.
I thought it did
Well,
introduce our viewers to you and your personality and what you're all about.
Sure. Yeah. Well, so, I am a guy who does some stuff, but I do have a new book coming out. Pretty cool. So it's actually my first short story collection. That's all my stories. It is called Black Honey. The full title is Black Honey and Other Unsavory Things. And that is
a little deeper.
Black Honey and Other Unsavory Things.
Oh, now I feel good.
Sold. Yeah. So we just released the publisher Rough House Publishing just released a teaser for it this week, so we can officially talk about it. And I did have a couple early reviews have been posted to the interwebs, and they have been very positive. So I thank my amazing author friends and readers, Pete Dudar and Ashley Greathouse, who were the first two who have finished it. And yeah, hopefully it's out this fall is the plan. We're going to be doing a pre-order at some point in the next month or so. So stay tuned. Follow me on Facebook at least, and that's where I pretty much post the most if you want to check that out. And yes, Retro Reductibus, I want to believe somebody out there who's in the chat room has heard of us, because I have been on a couple of times. We have done stuff. We have been with the network for like 3 years, 4? No, not 4, 2 or 3 years. Anyway, but yeah, I am just so psyched to be on here tonight talking about one of my favorite comics of all time. Definitely one of my favorite runs, for sure. The Byrne era of Sensational She-Hulk back in the early 80s. Oh, so good. So good.
So we're going to be doing this in 2 parts. Tonight we're going to be talking about John Byrne, and next week we're talking about who's the artist.
Dan Slott.
It's not
Dan
an artist,
Slott. Sorry, writer. Sorry, my bad.
Well, John Byrne is a writer-artist.
Yeah.
Yes.
And,
double trouble.
And it's so funny, when you see such things as, creators being both the writer and the artist pulling the double duty, because I feel like you don't really see too much these days. A lot of the times it's one and done. But John was really one of those exceptions where his career was full of a lot of highs. I mean, it had its controversies, of course. He liked to pick a couple of squabbles, let's say, in the comic book world. But you can't mistake how fantastic his line work was, and especially, the detail. I mean, you're talking to the guy who did the Man of Steel for DC. He did Days of Future Past with Chris Claremont for the X-Men. He did the
Fantastic Four.
He did the Fantastic Four. He did the first arc of Hellboy, Seed of Destruction with Mike Mignola. I mean, I think he also did some sort of Star Trek crossover at one point. I mean, he's done a lot of work. And I know this, especially because I got to meet him. I was very fortunate to meet him in the con. And he's exactly as you imagine, just gruff old man with a beard. It's pretty great. So I'm good. Leo, take it away.
Yeah. Before we go into the book, just wanted to go over some comic book news. I'm going to rush through a lot of this since we have a lot to cover tonight. And if there's anything major of note, just stop me. But so far,
stop him.
All right, I'm trying to do the fast forward. Hold on.
Okay. Ben Kingsley added to Wonder Man series as Trevor Slattery.
What do you guys think of that?
Ben Kingsley added to the Wonder Man series?
Yeah,
he's going to be reprising his role from Iron Man 3.
Yeah, Iron Man 3. I was
Iron Man 3.
I was so hoping. Yeah, he was in Iron Man 3. He was the fake Mandarin, and then he came in Shang-Chi. So I was hoping for him in Shang-Chi, which I got. I was very happy. Past that, I don't know if I need more Trevor. He's great, but Wonder Man. Yeah. I mean, like, all right.
I don't even know if I need Wonder Man, but
no, I don't. I don't think anybody does.
We're getting Simon Williams in something.
Well, they are proving me wrong with all these shows. So, well, not me wrong. I've actually enjoyed most and wanted most of them, but Wonder Man, I'm like,
very weird. Yeah,
we got a little taste of that because he showed up in MODOK, voiced by the great Nathan Fillion. but I agree. He's kind of, I don't want to say he's one of the more forgetful Avengers. It's just, he doesn't really do a lot. And it's sad because his power set is really awesome.
Yeah, his power set is really awesome.
I don't even know his power set, to tell you the truth.
It's just like, you know, comic book bullshit. It's just infinite energy because of reasons. But
ionic power.
Yeah.
And, you know,
they had a new buzzword. They're like, oh, it's ions. It's ions.
Well,
That's
I mean,
what we'll just gonna stick with that.
He's battled with Thor for sure, and he's definitely lost with the Hulk many times.
You know, my favorite, my most memorable moment of Wonder Man is actually Avengers Annual number 10. For some reason, that has never left my brain. That is the first appearance of Rogue, and the X-Men guest starred in that issue. It was like a giant size annual, and yeah, there's a scene where Rogue tries to she takes on the Avengers, and you know she's bad. She's with Mystique, and she's trying to like impress her, and so she kind of tries to take them all out with her powers. And when she taps into Wonder Man, he just lets her do it, and it like fries her because his power is just like limitless and infinite ions. I don't know what that means, but that's what it said. And so it just totally fries her. And I always thought that was really cool. And for a long time, I was like, oh, Wonder Man's a straight badass. Like, I love Wonder Man. And then, I don't know, I got over it. But I didn't get over She-Hulk. She's still awesome.
Louis is asking, will the Dorkening be attending New York Comic Con this year? I don't know if, I mean, our network's pretty big, so I'm sure somebody from the network's going to be there, but we will not. No. We are going to be, though, in 2 weeks at Tidewater Horror Con.
I'm writing out all the I was going to punch it up at the end of the show, so I'm writing up all the stuff right. Oh, no. I was just letting everybody know that's what I'm doing. I'm actually working over here. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Was that true?
It's in Virginia, right? The Tidewater?
West Virginia, yeah. I think West Virginia.
West Virginia.
Or Newport News? Not West Virginia. Virginia.
It's in...
Who's heading down there, Leo?
Is the Token dead, and then me and Jar Jar.
Oh, you guys are on a road trip.
Yeah, but hey, look at the ginger glasses couple right here. You know,
I keep going around and saying I'm Leo's paper thin twin. Like I'm the stick figure. If you know.
Listen, I stick to what I said on your photo together. I was like, there's a 30% chance they'll die.
Next up is Kate Bishop is confirmed for Phase 5. We kind of figured that was going to happen. Jordan Elsass is not returning as Jonathan Kent in Superman and Lois.
And I heard he might be done with acting altogether, apparently, too.
Really?
Wow.
It takes a toll on people, and some people, you know, it's just not for them, you know.
Well, also being, you know, the brother that didn't get powers, that must hurt, you know. Sorry. If you think that's bad, Joker sequel, only DC film with the official green light.
Wow. Yeah,
I don't even want to talk about that yet. The whole concept, I'm really having a problem.
It's like that period in French history where everyone just kept getting killed. I forget, it's like the Holy Terror or something. It's just guillotine projects. It's like, oh, you're a DC project. You wanna, do okay and
off with your head.
Dead. You cost money to make $25 million.
Little off the top.
Yeah. You got to make it in 5.
Yeah. So head writer Jessica Gao is talking about Hulk. Says Gao teased that the Hulk might have some new adventures in the final frontier, saying that everyone's only got to see a tiny bit of his life on Sakaar. I mean, God knows what the Hulk got up to in those years before then.
Bow chicka wow wow.
World War Hulk. That's all I'm saying. Let's do this. That's one of the best Hulk storylines.
So I know they're saying World War Hulk, but don't you want Planet Hulk though?
listen,
If
World
they
War
can
Planet
do the
Hulk
whole thing
is
would be great.
a much better story. Let's
Listen,
be real.
listen. Either way, that period of
I
Hulk
gotcha.
history was awesome. It's all Greg Pak goodness. I'm all for it. But when we're talking about the future of MCU, there's one character I want to see only. I want to see Hercules. Because we need some dumb buddy cop demigod goodness. If I get that on a show,
all right.
And the character they got for Hercules, I absolutely love him. I can never remember his name, but he's
Ted
from
Lasso
Ted Lasso.
guy.
Yeah. I've watched some of his stand up. He is friggin' hilarious.
Good. I'm all for it.
I've never been a Hercules fan, but to be fair, I've never really read much with him. So I totally appreciate that he has his fans, and I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome. I'm not going to say anything bad about him, Drew. Don't worry about it. I'm just saying. I just per se, like, I just don't. I'm kind of ambivalent. I'm happy for you though. Because I know that you're like not alone. A lot of people are super excited. My personal, like, I have to have this character in the MCU at some point, or I'll die mad and crying. Is freaking Beta Ray Bill. I cannot believe we've had 4 freaking. Come on. How do we have 4? I mean, yeah, he had a cameo. This is the statue in Ragnarok. Come on.
Right.
This is our chance to see him come back. If they do something else with the games, like call back previous champions. Let's get Beast down here. Let's get Beta Ray Bill. Has got to be, because then we get like his like Planet Hulk cartoon moment, which would be freaking amazing, because they're not going to use the Silver Savage. I mean, let's be real. But
Steve, do you really think that they could make Planet Hulk better than the animated version of Planet Hulk that they made?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a great, fun cartoon. It was, it was too short, of course, and it, the visuals were decent, but yeah, I think that you could do a lot more with. I think, what's her name? I always forget her name. Kyra is the woman he beds, the mother of Scar. Kyra, I think. Let's meet her. Let's make her an amazing character. The bummer is that I kind of dug the Red King. He is like just a Joffrey type, but I feel like they're probably not going to do him. But I don't know. Like, maybe my hope is that maybe, like, if he goes back, maybe there's some other section of Sakaar that's just a little bit different. Like in the comic, there was no junk. It wasn't like a planet of junk. You didn't look around for Eric Idle.
Well, until it got destroyed by spores.
The spikes.
I
see. That's what we need. We need that element. We need the spikes. And I loved the twist at the end of that amazing Greg Pak comic of where the spikes were actually coming from. I love that. But I don't know if you also remember, there were the Wildabots. They were like the wild animals on the planet that were the dangerous wild animals. Weren't animals. They were rogue robots that were kind of built of whatever. It was that sort of like old technology that came before forgotten technology. We don't know how they built these years ago, eons ago, like in the Dark Tower or something. And they were just the Wildabots, and that was a fun element. There's a lot of amazing elements in Planet Hulk. I would love it. I mean, I loved Ragnarok, but it was just a taste. So I'm happy he's going back.
I will counter what you just said with also, it could be a great way to introduce Silver Surfer, because you had that fight.
I would love it. I don't think that they will, but I would love that. I would have no problem with that. I would be super happy. I love the Silver Savage. I think it's the wrong way to introduce the character in the first place. He was that appearance was so amazing because it was the Silver Surfer, and like that's not a character you think of in conjunction with the Hulk. Really, it was such a random character that they chose, and it was such a powerful, beloved character that it would it had weight, and it was just a really awesome scene with him fighting him. But
Louis Rexus brought up a really good point. How can they do World War Hulk in the MCU with the Universal dispute?
The rights run out, and I think next year or the year after, the rights are running out.
That's probably why they're doing such a build-up now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will also say, if we can get an alligator Loki, I would like a Throg, please. I think that would be the most random, hilarious thing.
He was in the jar.
Yeah, we did see
He was
him
in the
jumping
jar.
in there.
Yeah, trying
I
to
was
get the
super
hammer.
excited when that happened. I was literally leaping from my chair.
You were leaping from your chair.
Leaping.
They even got a Funko of that.
I know.
Of the frog form?
Yeah, and I think he's in a jar in the Funko.
Oh, that's so good. I love that. Loki was still one of my favorite shows of the bunch. I loved Loki.
So next item on my list is there are two people rumored to be playing Reed Richards.
Right.
Jamie Dornan and Penn Badgley.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay. I have never seen either of these guys in anything. I will say that the second guy you mentioned looks more like Reed to me, although he is a little bit young.
Well, if they're, they said, I could have sworn they said they're not doing an origin story, but you would still want them fairly young.
Okay. Can I what's funny? A friend of mine proposed this great idea for a Fantastic Four movie, and I thought it was brilliant. It was the idea that the movie starts in the 60s, and you do like some cosmic rays level shit, and then like there's like a time warp, so they end up in the current time. It's still very in that 60s mode. You got that cultural like getting back on track kind of thing, but then you also have that old school values, that old school thing, and then you can still introduce Dr. Doom and whatnot. I was like, wow, that's genius, because you have this 60s sensibility with the look and everything. You have the modern day Marvel. You've got the thing where you can have the jokes, and it's not just classic Marvel. Like, hey, here's a dark moment. Let me just put some jokes in there, because you know nobody can handle darkness. I was like, yes, because Disney movies don't believe in dark moments. Checks other Disney. I just honestly, I was so pumped to see John Krasinski in as Reed Richards, and I enjoy how we've established it in the multiverse. You can be the same character but different. So I was like, yes, that should be how multiverse theory is, but okay. I think again, let's go. We got to beat Kang, man.
And there is that line in Multiverse of Madness that when Krasinski shows up, Strange says, like, weren't you a group in the 60s? And I know that you can take that as like, oh, you're the Beatles or something, the Fab Four or whatever. Yeah. But it also works like, but what if he was literally remembering that they were a thing in the 60s and, because I think it's a great idea. I've heard this before too, and I think it's a great idea. I think that it's a way to declutter as well. You say, like, let's do the first movie in the 60s, and then maybe there's a way that, they do a time jump or something. Just like same thing with Captain America 1, First Avengers, same thing. I think it's a great idea, and you can concentrate on just them and set up Dr. Doom, and you could say Dr. Doom didn't get a time jump. He's been here watching, waiting, getting older, getting more bitter, gathering up his resources, whatever, but that the team maybe did the jump and they're still youthful and stuff. There's a lot of ways to play with that. I do like that idea.
Yeah, I but I just imagine Doom sitting there just good.
Yes, good. Yes.
Louis wants to know our thoughts about Drew Powell from Gotham as Ben Grimm.
Fine, I'm fine with that.
Who is that one?
He played Grundy.
Oh, okay.
Did not see. I saw that post today. He looked okay. I'm unfamiliar with the actor, but I don't know.
I liked Gotham. I treated it as an Elseworld.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to refrain from saying anything because we're trying to get to talking about the show. After the show, if you want to talk about Gotham, I have some thoughts.
I'm sorry, but having Pee Wee Herman back as the
Yes.
It was. Oh yeah. Let's go.
Too far
That's not the
into
point. The point is there were good things, but there were also a lot of bad things. And Leo, please.
No,
be off.
100% agree.
Couple other things. The watcher on Twitter says the Marvel Netflix canon debate will no longer exist after She-Hulk. It is the same Matt, just softly rebooted and a time skip.
Okay.
And let's see. And exclusive, there is a Marvel Studios employee whose job it is to trace the timeline of everything.
I would like to volunteer. I would love to be.
I know. How do you get that job?
I would fail miserably.
Do we
I
have
would
to
try it.
Hunger Games style this? Because I'll kill people.
Yeah, actually, I vote for Drew to be in that position. He is the Encyclopedia Britannica for us.
Yeah, I'm literally the walking Pokedex. I've become the Mark Grunenwald of this show. Like, did that happen in the comics? I was like, yes, it did. You don't need to know. I know. I've read it. So.
And last two items, Marvel is open to casting Henry Cavill, from what I've read. And since we're talking She-Hulk, I'm assuming everybody saw episode 2.
Yes.
Didn't
read the books, right? But I saw the show.
Is Wolverine confirmed?
Supposedly.
I mean, obviously.
Little blurb. I mean, yeah, we knew he's coming.
Yeah, but okay. So what I'm hearing is Henry Cavill as Razorback, right? That's what you're saying, Leo?
Oh my God, that'd be the best. That would be the best casting he could possibly do. Yes. Full costume, comic accurate costume, Henry Cavill handsomeness in the front. Oh my God, that character would slay.
Wow, I just blew Steve Munn right there. He just yeah.
I think you blew more than his mind. You might want to check his pants.
You want to take 5 and change the shorts or something, buddy? Because damn.
No, I'm just gonna write it out.
In nerdness, in kind of like a nerd-esque. Has anybody seen the movie Nope yet?
Not yet. I'm planning on watching it soon.
I've heard mixed things. I heard some people said it was good, just unexpected. Some people was like, Some people really liked it. I
thought it was a really interesting spin on the typical UFO sci-fi type.
It was weird. I liked it.
Well,
that's why I'm gonna check it out. I haven't been too impressed with
Jordan Peele.
Yeah. I was telling Leo over the weekend. I forget the name of the first one there that got
Get Out.
really. Yeah, Get Out.
Get Out, Jeremy.
I liked it.
No,
Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't original at all. It was Stepford Wives and the Skeleton Key mashed together. Don't get me wrong. I understood what it was trying to tell the story and why, but everybody made it so big, and when I went to see it, I was like, okay, it was good, but I'm not writing home to anybody about this.
That's how I felt about Us. I was
Same thing.
This was fine,
Either of those. I just saw Nope.
I did the Super Pets.
That was good.
That was so good. Did any of you see Super Pets?
No.
I have.
I would love
not at the drive-in.
We did jump on the Pluther last night, Leo, and we checked out Me Time with Mark Wahlberg and I always forget his name. He's a little short comedian. Yeah, that really narrows it down.
Yeah,
Kevin Hart.
Thank you.
That's short. Okay.
Wow, little short comedian.
Leo's
Kevin
good.
Hart, I'm sure, if Kevin Hart was watching, he would have loved that comment.
Oh, and Samaritan's available already.
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of want to see that.
Yeah,
the trailer looked pretty decent.
Yeah, I was like, man, everybody's getting this superhero movie. I know on Leo that you put up Arc Enemy, that superhero movie that Joe Magliello did, that I heard was very comic book based. I want to check that out too.
Nice.
What's that based off of?
Yeah, just if anyone sees it, let me know, because I'm so behind on movies because life life finds a way. But yeah, I saw the trailer. I was like, this works. I was like, this Steel meets Kingdom Come Superman story right here. You know, I was like, Stallone swinging a hammer. I'm like, all right, fine.
Yeah.
Fine with me. But what else, Leo?
Well, no, I mean, just Super Pets. I'm just going to say one thing. Crisis on Infinite Guinea Pigs. Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Okay,
Oh,
so
Leo, I have to ask, since you've seen Super Pets, number one, for our female counterparts, do we have any animal death in the show?
no animal deaths.
Okay.
But there is this kitty cat, this little itty bitty kitten that is totally psychotic. It is
That's
freaking hilarious.
fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
She goes, "Oh, I'm cute and adorable, and I'm gonna murder you." And it's like it's hilarious.
It's cuter when
It
she does
sounds
it.
like it sounds like the kind
Yeah,
of
it's
pet
pretty cute when
someone
Leo does
in
it.
the
Okay, She-Hulk by John Byrne. Who'd like
Yes.
to
You guys have
start?
fun. I'll
no,
start off. I didn't read it. I
All right.
suck.
Look at just the cover. Okay, now this is your second chance. You didn't buy my book this time. I'm going to come to your house, rip up all your X-Men.
Yeah. You know, it's the funny thing. What I like is that I feel like everybody always assumes that Deadpool was like the first character to break the fourth wall, and from what it tells me, it's really not true.
No.
Like in some way, I feel like Deadpool and She-Hulk kind of debuted around a similar time. Where
nope, 10 years difference.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
And Deadpool didn't become funny at first. He wasn't.
No,
he didn't start.
Deadpool was a totally different character when he was created.
Yeah, he was just an assassin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Leo, what year is this?
80.
Which Liefeld can take no credit in.
So, well, she came about 80. So I guess Sensational probably wasn't 80. Oh, 85.
85.
Okay.
So Savage was 80. Then that failed miserably. Nobody liked her, and she just kind of wallowed in obscurity. And then John Byrne was doing Fantastic Four, and he had this idea where he's like, "Hey, I kind of want the Thing to go on sabbatical. And so I want the Thing to go away. I need a new strong guy. What if we use She-Hulk?" And so he was the first one in Fantastic Four to use She-Hulk and make her, what became her personality, where she's funny and she's talking to the camera, breaking the fourth wall and all that stuff. That was all from Fantastic Four. And then they ended up offering him a book to do after a few years later because people loved her in that.
Right.
But yeah, the first book that you read, Jar Jar, is not well liked.
No, actually, to build off that, this guy Barry Dutter, who actually sells in my comic groups now, and he's quite well known for the selling in the groups. But he, back when She-Hulk came out, hated She-Hulk so much he used to write in all the time. And I forget who did it, but they created a character for him called Dada, and they killed him off. He's the jailer in. I'm trying to look up the exact. He was the jailer for She-Hulk. He gets killed off right away, but like he comes back in later, of course, because everybody does. But yeah, like this dude Barry Dutter, he's I've sent him the book that he debuted in to like sign it for me, and like he sent it back. It was great. It's kind of funny stuff.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah, this is a classic cover, I think. Such a funny joke, really sets the tone. If you didn't know what you were getting into, it's like, there you go. So great. And then this cover is echoed in the last issue, which I don't remember what it went to. It was 50 or more than 50. I can't remember what the last one is, but the final issue echoes that joke. And she's basically like, all right, we had a deal. Hand over your X-Men.
So She-Hulk went from where did it pop? Where did it go? 1989 to 1994.
That's not bad.
It was 60 issues.
Okay.
And from what I read, John Byrne did the first 8, and then he came back, I think, around issue 40.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, he's always busy with projects, so you only can spread yourself so thin.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that the Fantastic Four came first before this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I definitely have clear memories of that.
Mm-hmm.
And her running that, taking over for the Thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, that's a really great shot. Go back one, Leo. She's talking to she's talking to the Thing on the phone. So she knows them, and they come up. Reed makes an appearance in one of the issues and stuff, because she knows them from that run.
Mm-hmm. What was really nice is that you're reading the comic, and it's just kind of nice to.
There's Henry Cavill right there.
Yeah, I told you. Listen, I'm just saying, if it happens, oh my god, I called it.
Let me bring up your show that again, Steve.
What's that?
Steve, show it again.
Show it. It was kind of weird on this page. Like, there we go. There we go.
Yeah.
That would be
one of the silliest comic costumes of all time. He's just a big American long haul trucker dude who wears a boar costume, and he's just Razorback, and his superpower is just basically being huge and being able to operate any machine, because that's how mutant powers would work. He's a mutant. But that's basically what he does. So
it's like tapped into the Matrix for fucking
and
how-to guides.
Highly employable man.
Like everybody in this book, they're all characters I just didn't know. Like when I read this, because I've had this book for a long time, since probably the early 90s, I guess, when I first read it. And I didn't know anybody. I like all of these characters. I'm like, who are they? Who are these people that she's fighting? And for the longest time, I thought that they must be just from this. And they made up these weirdo characters for them to fight. And it's like her first arc, which lasts, I think, 3 issues. They fight the Headmen, which Rich mentioned, and they are from the Defenders. And it's like, wow, I can't believe these wackos. They're so bizarre. But that's really what Byrne did. He's like, all right, there are a lot of weird shit that we've tried and have not worked as a company. And I'm just going to use all of those because no one else is gonna. So I'll just pick up that plot line and just run with it here. And it just became like the ultimate showcase of D-listers. And so honestly, with the show, we're getting Daredevil, which is amazing. That's a really good guest star. We could be getting Stiltman, although we are getting Frogman, which is pretty perfect.
Frogman. But
I'd actually prefer to get all those other ones instead of Daredevil.
Oh yeah.
That was kind of like in the Harley Quinn show, it's kind of cool seeing Kite Man and fucking everybody hanging out. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
Right. Yeah. I haven't seen that show. I know everybody loves it, but that does seem to be a similar thing that they're doing is what Byrne did with this She-Hulk run. But
a little
very
more
cool.
Adult oriented, but
gotcha.
Actually a lot more adult oriented. But
it's interesting how Byrne even connects the classic Hulk. He even mentions how they, in his early part of his career, dabbled with the circus of crime, and that was true to the comics. So he was just kind of paying homage over there.
He really knew what happened. Really, really cool. Also, some of the villains that are in this are just the most visually bonkers, but so comic booky. I mean, there's this guy. He's I think it's issue 5. She keeps alluding to various. She keeps drawing lines of comparison depending on the issue to what happened in her cousin's book, and on that cover right there, she says "Oh boy, cousin Bruce sure put up with a lot of weirdos in his second issue." So it's oh, what am I going to get in my second issue? She's constantly talking about being in a comic, and by issue 5, there's this character, and she's like, "Oh crap! Well, Bruce fought Dr. Doom in his 5th issue. I hope I don't get Dr. Doom." And they kind of allude to it in the 4th issue. They're like, "Oh, he wouldn't come in this weirdo book, right?" Woody, right? And so then you're like, oh well, maybe we're gonna see Doctor Doom. You don't get Doctor Doom, but you do get a doctor.
You get Dr. Bong.
I assume that's Jar Jar's favorite character of all time.
If you got that far, it would have been.
He didn't even get that far.
Look at that.
Didn't get past the cover of one.
You had a week, man.
I read Drew, today, right before the show, is when I found out that I was reading the wrong comic.
I'm sorry, Jeremy, 1 second. I love this image. It is just so fucking funny.
Which one?
Codeman Byrne?
Yes,
really?
yes. I posted this earlier in the week. I love this panel, or last weekend. I love this so much. It's so freaking hilarious. She just yells at John Byrne at all times every time there's something that's just too stupid.
Yeah. And I just think that it's really great that you have this book, because it reminds you that there was a time when comics were just fun.
Yes.
You know, they didn't take themselves so seriously. You know, you have just madcap weirdness, because let's just acknowledge something. The Marvel Universe is a weird fucking place. There's a lot
sure,
of
yeah, of course.
And like you said, Steve, like this book saw a lot of these underutilized characters, and like, you know what? I'm going to shed a light on the weird. You know, let's give them a little time in the spotlight before we put them back in the toy box that essentially is the Marvel Universe. You know, and it's
great.
You know,
you have the whole build up there, and it all just.
And you get Mysterio. You get people.
Mysterio.
Love it. I mean, like, it's Mysterio. As a kid, now that was the only character besides like Spider-Man that I knew. I was like, oh my god, it's Mysterio. Like, you know, everybody else I had no idea, but that was so. Anyway, I just want to point out too, like you're saying, like, okay, book totally doesn't take itself seriously. It's totally a farce. It's a parody of superheroes. It's a parody of comics. It's a commentary on how women were used in comics and how, you know, they're just always used as sex symbols and all this stuff. And she just throws all these, you know, cliches, you know, she throws it in the face of these cliches. So a lot of it wasn't serious. Some of it was. The one thing that gets me about the Byrne run is the artwork was always taken seriously. It never felt like he was drawing a silly book. He really took it as seriously as he possibly could. This stuff, this is just classic John Byrne. I love his run on Uncanny, like, so much. And like, look at just this page here, the facial expressions that he's doing. I mean, this is just a one-page sight gag. At this point in the story, we believe that she's had her head cut off, and she doesn't know what to do. She's like, well, I can't really participate in the story, so I'm just going to talk to the camera and tell a few bad jokes. And then somehow she gets somebody threw a pie at her face. Like, it's just the most out there thing, but the artwork is always incredible. And I love the way he accomplished curly hair. Her hair, like, if you really look at it, it's just like, how did you have patience to do this much on every panel? And he can do everything. He, you know, some artists aren't good at background. Some artists aren't good at coming up with interesting angles, or they can't draw feet. Now, John Byrne has no problem with feet. He clearly drew a lot of those, but like angles, backgrounds, you know, you don't see a lot of panels where it's just no background at all, because I got lazy and I didn't feel like drawing a background there. Just a very strong grasp of anatomy, a very strong grasp at characterization. The faces that he would draw looked like the characters that they always were. Like, She-Hulk has a very, very distinct face. She has a very distinct jawline. She has that very square, like you know, 50s sex symbol sort of starlet jaw, which I think that I do think that they played up a little bit with the CG model in the show. I think that Tatiana, what's her last name? Tatiana Maslany. She doesn't quite have that same jawline. I felt like they were kind of trying to get there, like halfway maybe to the Byrne jaw, but like, just an incredible sense of a lot of different things that just makes classic comics great, because the stories weren't always great, but sometimes the art really was, and you're there for just the experience. And it is silly and it is cheesy, but this had like some of the best art and some of the most intentional comedy. I just love it so much.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know how you younger guys feel about it, but as a young man reading this, I think this is the first super heroine that was written so charmingly that I think that was like my first secret girlfriend or something. And reading it now as an adult and rereading the way Byrne wrote it, I can see the charm that he wrote and what that would have attracted me to me as a young man. So interesting seeing that from a different perspective.
And also, just to give credit to Byrne, you have all the textbook things of female characters. At one point, she's essentially in her underwear. Her clothes are ripped off and she's in a bra. But it's not like, she's rocking triple Ds and rod provocative poses. She's still fighting hard. She's throwing the punches. She's still a character. And she even just had, like, right there, look, you even have a scene where she's basically in a Daredevil-esque leotard. But again, it's okay, but it's not her only character. She's still She-Hulk. She's still Jennifer Walters, and she's still doing her thing. It's just, yes, it's like, hi, we know what our fan base is like, but we're doing it on our own terms, which you got to appreciate, because I feel like, especially now, they really do play up the sex fantasy. Like it's kind of like how every character, I think, who Jim Lee draws is at least an H cup, and every dude has, chiseled abs. I'm like, my God, Jim, just please draw someone with a B cup, please. I know you can do it. For God. But again, it's nice to see it because she's a strong character. And yes, you play up the quote unquote sex appeal, but it's not the only thing in the book. Like, you let the story carry her,
and
her figure.
And the other thing too that I would say on that point is that she owned it in a way that other characters didn't. Like, to your point of, it wasn't her only character trait. That's a big thing right there. But she was very, like, self-possessed, very sexual, very, like, in charge of every, if she was dating somebody, like, I remember that guy Wyatt Wingfoot in the Fantastic Four. She's dating this guy, and like, he was like a big, strong, buff, superhero looking guy who's like 6'5", but still shorter than her. And at all times, she saved him. And like,
because he had no powers.
He was fine with it. Like, so it was also about showing that that's okay too. Like, there wasn't this like power struggle. There wasn't this like, oh, I'm constantly embarrassed because my girlfriend keeps saving me and she's just a girl. It's like, no, she's amazing. Like, she can save me any day of the week. Like, look at her. Like, she's great. So I think that there is something really great about that, about how, this character was, yes, scantily clad from time to time, but then she'd complain about the fact that she was scantily clad. And of course the readers just want to see it. Like, there's a cover where they're, I guess it's supposed to be John Byrne. You see a hand holding her a jump rope on the cover, and she's naked and she's covering herself up with a newspaper, and she's like, what the hell is this? And the guy talking is, you just see the speech bubble, and he's like, well, our readers demanded it. You have to do 200 jump ropes. Come on, get jumping, Shulky. And yeah, there you go. And she's just like, this is ridiculous. So it's very much poking fun at how ridiculous we are. And then they did, in the interior, it actually paid off. Like, she actually jump ropes naked, but she complains the whole time about how ridiculous and demeaning it is. So I don't know. It's a lens, it's a mirror. And I think that, I don't know if I would say it's feminist at all, but it's definitely like on that track where it's starting to empower women in a really positive way, while showing us how ridiculous we are as men, because we are. Yeah. But hey, I mean, you really gonna complain about being saved by She-Hulk? Like, you really? Like, okay, I'm not, but hey.
I just wanted to bring this up real quick. Go, Drew.
I was just going to say, to his credit, this scene is hilarious. You have her with her red outfit, and they ask, "Oh, how did that not fall apart and whatnot. And she was like, look inside, it's the comics code. I'm like, I'm done. John,
Well, also her back and forth with this character Wheezy.
Wheezy.
Yeah. And she explains, the whole age thing. She can also break the fourth wall, and how She-Hulk will always be 31, but her and her husband grew old. Her husband passed away because she wasn't used in comics. It was
right. She was a golden age character, a real golden age character. That's another one that, as a kid, I thought they were making up. And it actually wasn't until this time, I just was rereading it last week, that I looked this character up. It's like, oh, I remember this. I remember Wheezy. And I looked her up. It's like, no, the Blonde Phantoms from the 40s. She was very much a real character. And Marvel acquired her and at some point and, just didn't use her. So it's like, oh, well, what happens when, you don't appear in comics? Oh, you grow old and eventually you die of pancreatic cancer sometimes.
I absolutely love this issue, the 5th issue here.
So funny.
Saturdays.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I mean, and then the thing being is, it again, this took certain ideas and did it in a way that I enjoy. In terms of, it was almost like you have a remake, but you made it true to She-Hulk. Like you had the whole thing with Dr. Bong. Which I had to be honest with you, just saying it out loud is such a stupid fucking villain name, but whatever.
He has a bell for a head, man.
Right.
Everything about him is stupid.
The whole plot was essentially like that John Ritter movie where he's trapped.
Oh, yeah.
In the
oh, yeah. Stay tuned.
There you go. Stay tuned. It's basically a Marvel version of Stay Tuned.
It is.
And it works, and you're enjoying the whole story. But again, the way he did it is, yes, this is clearly kind of referencing that, but on my terms. And I think that's the thing, is you can borrow ideas from things, but you have to make it yours. And that's what I think John did so great with these first 8 issues, is it would just be easy to make Jennifer Walters a sassy female Hulk. But he made her She-Hulk. He made her her own character way more than Savage She-Hulk did. And there's a reason that this became like the blueprint for what a lot of people like Dan Slott would add on to, because she was real. It wasn't just, again, hi, this is just a green bimbo for pinup and fanboys to just whatever.
Right.
In this run, do She-Hulk and Jennifer Walters there share the same psyche, or are they separate psyche? Okay, because that's in Savage She-Hulk, that was annoying as fuck. Like Savage She-Hulk was definitely more aware and stuff than the original Hulk, but like they were still 2 separate psyches, and it was like, but then at times she was like, oh, this is my father and stuff, but like still it was very not good. He looks like RoboCop.
Oh, I wonder why.
Exactly the point.
Did Marvel have the rights at that time?
No. Put the panel back, Leo, with RoboCop.
Just real quick, I just wanted to go over to cameos.
I mean, because that looks so much like RoboCop. They had to have the rights at that time, didn't they?
So we got Mighty Mouse. We have the Three Stooges. We have this leads into
those 2 probably everybody had the rights. So
it's a yabba dabba do time.
Yeah, but it's everyone's got a different name. Like here, they're the Stonesteins instead of the Flintstones. Everyone's got a slightly different.
And then this is the Jetsons.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the houses and.
I see the houses. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. They also mention where the hell was it?
Right there.
Yeah. My wife Jane, and our son Elroy.
Oh, our boy Elroy. Jane, his wife.
And then
Jar Jar, extra the RoboCop. They just call him Robot Cop.
Yep.
So
dead or alive, you're coming with me.
Well, I know they have the rights to him at some point, because there was definitely a RoboCop comic put out by Marvel.
Let's see, Leo, remind me what else. Keep going.
Okay, so I believe this is Yogi Bear.
That's totally Yogi Bear, and that's Morocco
Yep.
Mole.
Oh,
Oh,
what?
where?
That's
Morocco
right
Mole?
there.
Oh,
He's
I didn't even
wearing
pick up on that.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
he's
that
purple.
so
Purple and
that
white.
that is actually Mr. Magoo.
Yes.
Oh,
there you go.
Oh, look at
And
no,
then-
it's the Fez threw me off. That's
Yep, and then Elmer
Bugs
Fudd,
Bunny.
Bugs Bunny. Yeah,
and Elmer Fudd.
Oh, yeah.
And there we go, Castle
Castle
Grayskull.
Castle
Grayskull.
Grayskull.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go.
That's
Oh.
Castle Grayskull. Nice try. But
And is that Scooby Doo?
they must have not had the rights to He-Man because that's
Yeah, it looks like
nowhere
Mickey
near
Mouse
Castle
and
Grayskull.
Scooby Doo crammed as a final panel, maybe.
Maybe.
Because I think that's when it's kind of wrapping up. I don't think there are any
Yeah.
after that.
See, that looks
Oh,
more
and-
like Steamboat Willie.
And this was another character I looked up because I'm like, okay, is Dr. Bong from something? And he's from Howard the Duck, which is why he has a duck, lady duck servant who's just inexplicably French. He was apparently from Howard the Duck comics. Like this page, I read the entire thing. It's amazing. Oh my God. Like scroll down. Yeah. She literally rips through the pages of the comic to get away from him. And there are so many jokes written in the fake pricing of all this stuff. And a lot of it is, there's a running gag on the X books. There's a
Good
catch there, Louis.
It's good stuff. At one point, it even says, "Wow, you're actually reading this! Like, I can't believe you're not just flipping to the next page."
Another X title, $60 million zillion billion dollars, even for the ones that haven't come out yet. Alan Davis does such great babes, hubba hubba.
Oh, good.
Really, isn't this the guy who does the funny drawings in the margins in Mad Magazine? Oh, that's hilarious.
Electra Assassin 1 to 4, lots and lots of money.
I love the under Nightcrawler. It says an X book, $1,000 each, coverless, all the coupons clipped.
That's kind of like what the prices are now. My God.
So good.
So yeah, they really had a good time with this.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, again, it was just a great weird book. Even when you had the stuff with Razorback, you know, like you know for a fact you will never see the MCU do that, which is sad because it'd be hilarious. But you know, it's just again silly Marvel fun. It doesn't need to be a tie-in. It doesn't need to be apocalyptic, world-ending stuff. You know, it's just comics. It's embracing the weird.
I do think that this is technically how Deadpool could really work well in the MCU if he turned into the person that did this. Just not just breaking the fourth wall, but making fun of everything, going through everything, picking up weird characters that you know, it could in this case it could be an actor. Yeah, he could be it could be the new Stan Lee, but he could also just poke fun at all the silliness, but also pick up all these like little characters that were in one scene and one thing or whatever.
But Steve, and just to piggyback on.
Oh, there he is. To piggyback.
Well done.
Well done. Unintentionally timed, kids. But the point being with that, Steve, it always falls onto creators. You know, like personally, Deadpool has always been one of my favorite Marvel characters, but not everybody writes him well because people forget that it's one thing to be funny, but it's another thing to be funny with a point. Like it's very easy to write Deadpool is reference everywhere, which is very annoying. But if you have an idea of how to do Deadpool, you know, similar to like Leo and Rich, we've read like Jerry Dugan's run, which was a very tragic Wade. He was serious, but he had no problem making jokes and references. But, you know, he's a very fucked up character. I think some people just kind of get lost in, we can make references to everything because he's fucking crazy and he knows he's in a comic. And
Good point. Good point.
You know,
he needs to be well written. You're right. And yeah, it can't just be turned into the trash heap of references. So yeah, you're right on that.
I just want to add real quick, just to keep everybody happy, they did include both the Star Trek and Star Wars fonts.
They did.
They did. Yeah,
That's amazing.
That's
Star
good to
Trek.
know.
This is a great example of a series of characters I had never heard of. It's this like, I can't even remember the name of the book now. It's like U.S.
Be right back. Keep talking.
U.S. Truck or something.
Oh, I've seen that.
It was like a Marvel made a deal with like Tonka or something weird, and they're like, yeah, we'll put out just like it was like a ROM the Space Knight sort of deal, and they're like, yeah, we'll put out toys, you put out comics, and it was this whole cast of characters of these space trucker guys and ladies, and very, very weird. It sounds really lame, but this is. They went to that world here, and it was like 2 or 3 issues. It was fun, silly.
I wonder if that did anything for those comics.
I don't know.
At that time, I mean, like, I have a bunch of those because I used to buy out collections, but have never cracked one of those.
Can you remember what it's called? What the actual name is?
All I remember is it had the interstate symbol sign on.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
U.S.
Yep.
But I don't know if it
because
had,
U.S. was like the main character's initials.
Like US
it was like
1 or something.
Oh, I think that's what it is. I think it's just U.S. 1 because the character's name was Ulysses something, Ulysses Solomon or something. And so they're like, oh, we just call them U.S.
Oh yeah,
I assume that's how they talk.
The only reason I knew who these characters were, funny enough, is
there
it is.
They were in a Deadpool one shot, so I knew who these characters were, and it was just like, what is this guy? Some sort of super trucker? Like,
he's a super trucker.
You know, it's just.
I used them as padding for other comics.
That's fair.
I sold them. I was just like, I don't know what to do with these things. You couldn't even sell them for a quarter. Still can't.
Yeah, but it was, again, just weird, wonderful, like madness.
Yep.
You know,
let alone let Marvel make a show of them though, and I'll sell them all.
If you go back one, that panel on the left in the middle, this whole page is devoted to just explaining the entire series. They're like, yeah, no, this is everybody who matters. This is what happened. We'll catch you up on this comic that we know nobody read, but we're still gonna go there. And here you go.
And you know, if this was modern day comics, they would have wasted like 3 pages. My dude does it literally in a page and a half.
Yep.
And it doesn't interrupt the story at all. It's just like, yep, well, that's all the exposition you needed. Keep going. I'm like, okay, well, there we go. We know everything now.
Yep, you sure do.
So do we think like James Gunn borrowed a little John Byrne-esque from like a lot of his work?
Yeah, totally. I think 100%.
So. I mean,
definitely
honestly,
the fourth wall breaking.
I mean, honestly, this diner reminded me of the diner that they stop off in Spaceballs.
100%.
You know, I totally.
Yeah. And we have the original Guardians of the Galaxy down here on the right.
Yeah, there you go. Right, look at them. I totally missed that right there.
Oh yeah! Oh my God! I totally didn't even see that.
Charlie 27,
Yondu, yeah,
with the mohawk. Yo, wow! I totally missed that too. Fucking hell, that's great. You know, see, kids, that's why you got to reread comics. Even us pros miss shit too. So, but
awesome
nice
stuff.
Catch, Rich.
Me and Leo almost had a Spaceballs story, but the actor had to go home.
Oh,
yeah.
Which actor was that?
Bob Elmore, who was the stunt double for John Candy on Spaceballs and everything from Uncle Buck and everything else. His wife got sick, so he had to leave.
Now, did he play the stunt double? Did he play
that was my question for him. I was like, were you the stunt double that actually stunt doubled?
Yeah. These are not them.
Yeah, Mel Brooks told him he was the worst actor ever.
And then it's funny because I know who Zemnu is because I've read Mollo.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, this guy, this is how he started. Like,
Yeah.
Interesting.
This abominable snowman meets Swamp Thing looking weird alien motherfucker.
Yeah.
And
I'd go pudgy Wendigo without a mouth.
Yeah, I was going Wendigo.
That's much better. That's much better. But
A dad bod Wendigo. That's what it is.
there you go. Yeah, and then the whole plot is weird. It's just I'm going to kidnap children. Well, that didn't work, so I'm going to kidnap babies. And I'm just like, oh boy, this guy is just a space stranger danger right here.
Oh, I love him. Oh, there's your guy. There's your guy.
Fantasy with Hercules.
Yeah, there. Yeah, he shows up a couple times.
Listen, I'm telling you guys, I will add Incredible Hercules to our gotta read list. Because let me tell you, Greg Pak and Fred Van Lint with their series, their Hercules, him paired up with Amadeus Cho, that shit was hilarious.
Nice.
But yeah, and like I said, like again, great stuff.
I love this page on the left. If you go up a little bit, Leo, and she's like, she doesn't know she's upside down, and there's like a line. She's like, "Hey, where's my trademark?" What does she say? My trademark forelock isn't dangling over my face. Oh, I get it. I'm upside down. I never even noticed. He always drew her with this exact S-shaped curl, kind of like Superman, but bigger. I don't know. I never noticed it before until this, and I went back, and it's like, oh my god! Every single panel and every single cover, she has the exact same like forelock. And I didn't even notice. Funny shit.
So since we're kind of getting
somebody's got to tell me how Hercules gets the kiss. Like, what's going on there?
She's she's just fantasizing. She has the hots for Hercules.
Oh,
yeah.
These are moments where she goes unconscious and she dreams about macking with Hercules.
This is before she slept with the Juggernaut, and that became
this is before that.
Dear God. So since we're already in now the 1 hour mark, do you guys want to segue where we can talk a little bit about the show and how that compared?
Sure. What the heck is going on here?
Yeah.
Bride of Zemnu.
We thought the same thing. I need to say something. I'm at a bit of a crossroads with the show because I watched the first 2 episodes last night, and I was stunned at how I was like 38 minutes. I was like, Marvel? 38 minutes? I'm used to like a hard 45, 48 with the after credits scene. I was like, okay. I have mixed feelings about the character so far. I have to be honest. I know, I feel like I'm a bit of in a minority there. So obviously I want you guys to talk first before I interject my points. So I enjoyed it, but something is missing for me. So what did you guys first think? Especially after having, now read the book.
I really enjoyed it. My only issue with the TV show was the entrance of Titania. Yes. I thought that was ill-used. I know she's going to be a main character, so I guess that was sort of a introduction to her.
Like, I mean, I can assume.
But I felt like there was something on the cutting room floor we missed of that.
Yeah.
Well, and why? Well, I know we'll probably get more of the story, but she's like titled as an influencer.
Right.
Superhero social media influencer.
Right. Which is way different from the comics because she actually came from Secret Wars and Dr. Doom created her.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Gave her powers. She was just a skinny girl, and Dr. Doom did his thing and made her super powerful. And then she was the girlfriend of Crusher Creel for many years, the absorbing man. And I think they got married at some point.
Indeed. So,
that was my only real gripe. Drew, I mean, obviously this is the show. They can't do totally the John Byrne thing. I like the nod to the, I think we've got one fourth wall break and sort of her talking to the audience, but I don't know if I really want to call that the fourth wall break.
There were a few.
I'd say the 3 or 4.
The second one, yeah.
Okay.
So the second one, so the first episode with the fourth wall break, the first episode with the fourth wall break, Bruce noticed something was going on. and it seemed like people were aware of her like a fourth wall, but they didn't understand what was going on. But the second episode, she's like walking through the lawyer's office, talking to us, and nobody's batting an eye. So I don't know if they changed it up to second episode,
or if only Hulk is somehow a little bit aware because they have the same radiation. There's all these weird ass theories out there about, is it a superpower?
Captain America, what?
Oh, Captain America fucks.
We can definitely spoil, right?
I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty funny. But also,
he is America's ass.
Yeah,
we're gonna see people, I think, now eating Cheetos with chopsticks now because
fuck that.
Pretty genius.
Well, in Peacemaker, the Cheetos
keep
were
them
a
in the
weapon.
bag and
So Cheetos are becoming very notorious in the nerd community.
So, but again, like I said, I want to have get your opinion out before I guess vocalize mine first, because I feel like I'm kind of a downer here a little bit. I mean, again, I want to stress I didn't hate it, but I have seen some issues.
I watched.
Tell us about them.
I watched.
Go for it, Jar Jar.
Oh, I was just gonna say I watched it with the two little ones, 10 and or actually 11 and a 9-year-old, and they haven't seen the second episode yet. I watched it when I got home Sunday night, but they were impressed with how much stronger, or not how much stronger, how much quicker to learn She-Hulk was over Bruce, and we're very happy about that. And like they did mention that Bruce is much stronger, but she seems to be able to handle herself much better. But they enjoyed it quite a bit, and that made me enjoy it quite a bit. The second episode, I have to say, I was pretty run down while watching it. I felt like, where are we going? When are we getting there? Because 2 episodes in and you're doing 38 minutes, as Drew's saying, like really short episodes. And what are we getting? 6 episodes for this, I think?
No, it's
Is it an
9? I think it's 9.
Yeah,
like
really?
8
or 9.
Yeah,
okay, I thought it was 6.
So it's shorter episodes, but there's more. So it's kind of like WandaVision in that. Right?
Okay.
It's like shorter episodes, but.
You didn't like Emil Blonsky, Jar Jar?
I'm sorry.
Emil Blonsky, the Abomination. You didn't like?
Oh,
him
I mean, I was
Hey,
okay.
Bond.
I knew it was coming, so I wasn't shocked or anything.
Right.
Louis says, I love the attention to detail, how Jennifer is automatically hammered when she de-Hulk. That was awesome.
That was good. Yeah,
that was
fine.
Really
and also the when she laughed at the camera when Bruce said he was a different person, literally.
So I guess I should segue with the things I'd like is I feel like when the character to me felt very Jen moment, it was something like that, because that is very much a tongue-in-cheek look at the camera, like, and it's that's a reference to us because we know he was a different actor back when he was fighting Abomination. And it really was nice seeing Tim Roth again, and getting the idea that yes, just because we didn't see Abomination for a long time doesn't mean his character wasn't still evolving.
And he made some good points. He made some really good points. He really did. It's like she's like, yeah, you destroyed Harlem. He's like, yeah, but they shot me up full of this crap. I thought I was going to be Captain America or something.
Yeah. But the thing being is, again, it's one of those where I'm like, okay, he could be a bit more sympathetic, but he could still be a really bad guy. So that's, that comic book knowledge in me that usually a villain is a villain, regardless of how family friendly you want to make him.
Well,
they always think about number one.
Well, he turned a leaf, though. He just wants to live in a large place with his 7 soulmates.
And write haikus. And don't forget the haikus.
And wasn't he hanging out with Wong in Shang-Chi?
Yeah.
Well, and I enjoyed them tying in it. My thing is, I just got a little tired of Jennifer's snark at some point. Like, I'm all for a sassy character with the quips and stuff. It just felt to me a little arrogant. Like,
Oh, weird. Really?
yeah, I don't know. I kind of saw it as like, oh, yeah, well, I'm a lawyer. I got this. Like, you've been doing the Hulk for so long, but like, I'm clearly a different Hulk.
That's interesting. See,
that part I actually
I saw that as a
came from the
brother-sister
comic.
relationship more.
Yeah.
I don't know. I found her a little annoying in the first episode. Like that when she had moments where she was doing the learning curve and being a little smarmy. Like I definitely saw that brother-sister relationship, especially when he threw her off the cliff and she fell off as he fell and bounced back.
That was fun.
I definitely saw that.
Actually, hold on.
can I
That
bring up-
shot,
go ahead.
that
No, you go.
her falling off the cliff, that was taken from the, I think the first or second issue of Savage.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was going to say, I feel like her attitude really comes. I don't know if she was that way in Sensational since I didn't read it, but in Savage She-Hulk, she was very adamant on not being a superhero. She didn't want to be She-Hulk. She wanted to be a lawyer.
And you definitely see that in the like at least the first episode. But like I said, I just got annoyed with that because it's just, to me, I just feel like Marvel lately has been doing this thing where they start off some of their female characters as being somewhat unlikable, and then eventually their rough edges subside and such. When I'm just like, again, we've seen this, we've read She-Hulk, you can write her in a way where she doesn't have to be better than the Hulk. There's just things that she does better than Bruce does, and then there are things Bruce does better than she does, and you learn how to compliment each other. But I just feel like, they got the snark, like, oh, hey, superheroes, man, it's only good for, narcissists, orphans, and things like that. I was like, do we really need to keep taking jabs? Can we make a joke that's just a joke? Like with the Ed Norton thing, I was like, to me, I was like, this is hilarious. And
that was funny.
Perfectly like She-Hulk would, but
see, I think it's interesting that you take issue with that specific part where she's like, oh, for superheroes are only for these types or whatever, because that is exactly something that she would have said in Sensational. There's so many things we already talked about tonight where she's making fun of what comics do. And to me, that's all that was. That was her being snarky about what comics do and making it into a joke.
Well, maybe that wasn't the best example, but I don't know. There's just something that's just rubbing me the wrong way about it.
Drew,
that's valid.
Drew, I wonder, because some people are starting to feel that Marvel is too jokey, and you prefer, if you're like, all right, I could take the jokes, but I want the smart jokes. Don't go for the easy jokes.
Yeah, maybe it's that. Like, I like it when it's the Deadpoolian technique. I prefer when the jokes are good versus if it's a joke every mile a minute. And that's a criticism I've really noticed a lot of Marvel, especially I would say within the last phase. Kind of, I think since Endgame, really.
I feel like since Ant-Man.
It's just,
I hated that in Ant-Man.
We can't have a dark moment and let it sit. So we have to have a joke to kind of make the darkness a little lighter.
Well,
that
was just my exact. Sorry, Drew. I keep cutting you
No,
off.
it's fine.
That exact moment in Ant-Man where like they're talking about the original Wasp, and I'm sitting there watching this, and you finally get feels in that. And I'm like, that motherfucker, Paul Rudd's about to make a joke, and bam, it takes you right out of that moment.
Yeah,
like
I think
you don't get to feel.
Well, it's just like, and again, the best thing is I know that there's been a lot of discussion because you have the one scene where they're talking about anger and she's talking about what she goes through as a woman every day and whatnot. And it's just, to me, I kind of see both ends. Like I see some people trying to compare that is a little bit is somehow worse than what Bruce Banner's been through, which was a textbook case of trauma and horribleness that, to be quite honest, I've said this for years, Bruce Banner is the darkest Marvel character. Because you look at his background, it is fucked. He watched his dad kill his mom. He had to lie for his father on the stand. His dad was committed to a mental institute. Later on, you find out he killed his dad in a fit of anger in front of his mother's grave. Like, there is just, like, if he didn't end up the Hulk, he would have been a psychopath. And you're just like, wow.
And that was a great point that they brought that up in the show. Like you said, the 10 years of trauma plus.
Yeah. And it's just, again, for me, I'm just getting tired of where I don't think it's about writing characters equally anymore. It's one is better than the other. And I'm like, just write a good fucking character. Doesn't matter of the gender. Like, no offense, Ellen Ripley didn't need to worry about being woke. She had to worry about shoving a flamethrower down a xenomorph's face, and did it beautifully, I might add. So my point being is, in the end, I'm still sticking in because I like what I saw, but I'm hoping it gets a little better. And from what Dan Slott said about the first 4 episodes, he said it definitely will. So I'm optimistic, but I don't know. Some certain things just kind of didn't sit right with me, and that's just, again, my opinion.
So I don't want to say or insinuate that I think that anything you just said is invalid in any way, and that's how you felt, and totally respect that, and that's fine. I will say, just in general, I think that the this narrative of that scene where she says, like, I have to deal with anger every day, and you don't, the narrative of her saying that she was better than him and had it harder than he had is not really at all what she said. It's like people have taken it that way for some reason. I don't understand why, but at no point did she say she's had it harder than Bruce. She's saying, as a woman, and look, I mean, I'm married. I have 2 daughters. It's a scary fucking world out there for women. All right. Like, are you scared to walk down the street at night? Like, they are. Who do you know? Talk to a woman that you know. Any of them.
Like, it's crazy to piggyback off you, Steve. Like, women are told to carry protection all the time. They're told to, like, these given different numbers, different ways to, like, get out of trouble while in bars. Like,
all these ways that to navigate the world.
2 daughters. It is never mind, like, the changes their bodies go through compared to ours. Like,
exactly.
It's fucking a cruel world.
Yeah, and even the part where she said about controlling her emotions because of all that stuff, like, the people who take that and are like, I'm so insulted by you bringing up how hard your experience is to me that I'm gonna call it a woke agenda. Do you have a wife? Does she ever talk? Do you ever talk to your wife? Like, my wife is a mechanical engineer who works for the Army. She lives in a man's world. She at all times has to do every single thing that She-Hulk says in that 1 5-second part that pissed everybody off. All that stuff. If she comes home and I hear about it, it's like, oh, room full of 5-star generals are like, they get to be pissed and yell and swear and be whatever. But if she did that, and when she loses her cool for 1 iota, all the emails come. Oh, it's either that time of the month, or she's too emotional, or she can't deal with this, or she can't handle the stress. Can't handle the stress, the responsibility, blah 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 blah. It's just the world. It just is. So for that scene to have brought that up, I don't think it had an agenda. I think she was right. She wasn't saying she had it harder than Bruce. She never said that. She just said that she is better at controlling her emotions because she does it every day. Right. So that's true. Bruce has done it for 15 years. She's done it her whole life. So, I mean, and it's not just her. It's just the experience of women. So I don't understand why that pissed so many people off at all. Like, I just don't understand it. It was also a really quick scene. Like, it was like important, and I think it needed to be said, and it was a good thing that, that kind of stuff isn't said enough. So if that's what woke is, that, like, we're bringing new information to the table that's previously been in the dark too long, then all right, I guess it was woke, but why do you have a problem with learning that? You're saying it's not true?
Right.
Is that like, I'm not saying this to you, Drew. I want to be clear.
No,
like I'm not ripping down specifically what you said, but some of the stuff that you said has been echoed. I've heard it a lot for the last 2 weeks. And
right. And that's the thing. And Steve, I don't mean to interrupt, but
Sure.
and again, because I feel like I want to clarify, like, I'm not saying, I'm not calling out that. It's just something, I don't know what it is. Just something is kind of sandpapering me about it. Like, I don't know what it is.
And listen, this is a great conversation to have.
Maybe it's just, I'm just kind of tired of origin stories. Like, and again, like you said, it was one episode and then we got straight into it. If anything, that entire flashback is literally her doing She-Hulk, being like, "Hi, you want to know how I became the Hulk? Here we go." Like the entire thing.
Well, she even says, let's get this over with.
Yeah.
So
right.
I just think that, like, it definitely opens up a certain conversation there. And again, maybe some of the other episodes, like, I definitely enjoyed the second one a little bit more. I will say that because, again, we saw more of, she's now She-Hulk, attorney at law for superhuman law. She's representing A-Bomb, who she, got approved. Her cousin is like, "Hey, you can work for him. I'm cool with that."
Sounds like you're calling me to tell me you're taking the job.
Yeah, basically. And
I'm definitely.
And also, just on a separate note, I love that the guy who is basically vigilante for Arrow just shows up, and I'm like, please be something in this show. Like,
the bathroom for pooping guy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I was like, please, for the love of God, because he's such a funny actor. But I don't want to sound like I'm trying to divert from the subject. But I don't know. There was something there that I definitely
totally valid.
But
totally valid. 100%.
Yeah, but my thing being is, it's the same thing as, and we've talked about this on the show, where I don't want Marvel to go down the road, I think, of comics where sometimes you're writing to win favor with certain demographics or ideologies or ideas versus just writing a good character and letting their ideas stand up through good stories. So that's what I want to see more of. And I know that gets boggled down because, let's be real here, just like books are influenced by sales, books are also influenced by popular culture. And, again, sometimes if things aren't really very popular, they don't really, like Jeremy, you said to yourself, if a book's not popular, it does not last long.
No.
It could be genius, but because it doesn't have that audience, it doesn't last long. So I just kind of don't want Marvel to fall into that where you're just writing a character because it's kind of like, oh, look, no, we're inclusive. Check this out. I got this here. Like, just write a character because that's a character you want in the world. So I'm very glad we have She-Hulk. You know, and I'm interested to see where it goes. Especially, we got Abomination back. What other characters? Like, personally, I hope we see the leader. That's
for sure.
Oh my God,
that's who I'm hoping.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Listen,
we
And with
really,
the end, seeing the Hulk on the Sicarian courier ship.
Yeah, right.
I mean, there again, we're maybe World War Hulk or what?
Hulk.
How is this tied into the 2 years that we didn't see when he was up there?
Yeah,
I'm really appreciating the introduction through TV series. Like, I think they should have went that way with the Eternals and probably would have saw a better response.
I agree with
definitely.
I second that because I'm kind of dreading watching the Eternals movie because I feel like I'm going to watch it, but I feel like I'm just going to be kind of bored.
It's too many characters to throw in a 2-hour movie.
Yeah. I like it, but I could also, I've seen it twice. And I was expecting to not like it the second time, and I liked it quite a bit the second time. But I am a fan of the MCU, so like it's not high on the list, and I could definitely have lived without it. It doesn't need to be there. I think the best part of the Eternals is the Kit Harington bonus extra scene. I mean, like by far Both times I'm like, oh my God, this scene.
Right.
I want this movie. This is what I care about right here. Like, connect this to the Midnight Suns and give me Blade and give me Moon Knight and Werewolf by Night and whoever the hell else you want to throw in on that team. For God's sakes, man.
Yo,
do it.
I cannot even.
I listen. I'm sorry. If we have a Midnight Sun series, I will shit a brick. I'm like, that's the horror baby I want. Like
that. They just need to take the main character needs to be freaking Ghost Rider. Reintroduce him for that. Make him do what they did with Wolverine and all the early X-Men movies. It's the Ghost Rider movie, but it's not. It's technically an ensemble piece, but all the side characters you actually care about and you're like dying to see. Or you could technically make it the Black Knight movie.
Steve, that's some dangerous thinking there. You better get back to your octopi. Like, whoa, calm down.
What if that's how they officially reveal Mephisto?
I think we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see Mephisto and Agatha Harkness.
You think so?
Yeah.
Leo, I need to say this. When it happens, you are the first person I'm gonna message.
Have you guys?
You've been talking about this every time we have a new thing.
It's a running joke, you know. It's just.
I need them to multiverse Thanos in love with Lady Death, with Mephisto influencing him. I need that in the multiverse.
No, what you need is you need to see that, and you have
they're going to retcon
it, being like, yeah. I was like, yep, Mephisto is the creepy cameraman in that porn. Got it.
Like they'll retcon and they'll just be like, Thanos was actually all about Lady Death. It wasn't about he wanted the world to be better. He was like, I'm trying to send souls to this bitch.
Hey, listen, I mean, to me, I was like, my God, Thanos was such a simp for death. I was just like, my dude took down half a universe and he still didn't get no play. I was like, this is how the worst incels are created, everybody.
Dude, take a hint, dude. Take a hint.
She ignored him too.
Has she looked your way once? No, she has not.
No,
of course, she might not know because she has empty eye sockets. So I don't know. Maybe she was looking at it.
So I will say this: I'm hoping for because I'm gonna have to unfortunately go because I just realized what the time is. I will say this: if there are two characters I want for the rest of the series, I want to see Stiltman.
Yes, I've said that. Yes.
Oh
I would love to see Stiltman.
If I see Stiltman, I'll be like, okay, Marvel, I'm good. This is the thing.
Okay,
this guy is real. Yes. And
I feel like Frogman means we won't get Stiltman because they're giving us Frogman, but I also hope.
Yeah, and then I want to see the leader. I still think that was one of the gross injustices of Incredible Hulk that you didn't you literally set it up. Who was there? You saw the head mutated, pulsing. I was just like, give us the leader, and they did in like one of those tie-in comic booky things, and I was like, no one read this. I don't even know how I read this. What? But it's just like, guys, you set it up. Don't just leave it there. It's like it's like when you go in the attic, you're like, oh, I remember playing with you. Well, in the yard sale box you go. Like, come on, Marvel, play with your toys.
Will we get Red Hulk? Will we get Thaddeus?
Can we? No, please don't. No. I'm gonna go all respect here. Sometimes too many Hulks is actually a bad thing.
I need that one for my collection.
Yeah,
I don't have the Red Hulk.
I feel the same way about the Ninja Turtles. Just don't give us too many mutants like the old cartoon show. Like, I just want the 4 turtles to be the only weird thing.
Nope.
Like,
I love that.
We owe the 4 turtles and also a race of space triceratops. Other than that, everybody else is human.
And one Krang.
I want one rabbit.
Okay, the Krangs. We do the Utroms.
Usagi.
No, you don't need Usagi. Oh, he's cool. He's cool. Don't get me wrong. I like Usagi, but
listen, Jeremy,
I think less is more.
There's a
Netflix cartoon. I've watched that movie, so yes, less is more. Thank you, Steve. Love that quote. Angels in the outfield forever. But Jeremy, to your credit, what needs to happen with Usagi is you do the crossover with him and the Turtles, but you do it animated style, so you can get away with the big budget. Boom! Drop the mic. I'm done. All right, cool. I'm out.
They can't do it. in
So,
CGI.
but like I said, I do have to go. So I don't know if you guys.
So Drew, before you go, do we want to gamma bomb this?
Totally.
Oh.
Okay, you know what? I think we definitely got to give it. It's either bags of Cheetos or
bags of Cheetos.
Fourth wall breaks.
Chopsticks.
No. That's not the word. Or just we can do 4 Hulks. You know.
I like bags of Cheetos.
Okay, fine.
Yeah,
I give.
Will we get copyright infringement for that?
I give the book 4.5 bags of flaming hot Cheetos. Honestly, if anybody wants to read about the She-Hulk, I'm sending them either this or the Dan Slott series, hands down.
So it's out of 5. Out of 5.
5.
Okay.
The show for me, I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5 bags of Cheetos, simply because I want to keep watching. But there were certain things there that kind of irked me the wrong way. I don't know why. I'm still kind of figuring out my disconnect. But I'm not going to cancel Jennifer Walters, everybody. I'm sorry. Like, the girl looks too good in those 7-foot tall dresses. That's all I'm going to say.
Because your best friend is spandex.
I am.
Nikki.
Being a rotund gentleman at this time, I'm very much a fan of stretchy clothes. And one more thing, Jennifer Walters working with Santa in the comic was the greatest thing ever.
And it was
all I'm gonna say.
He was a total scumbag too. It was the best Santa ever.
He was trying to
I was just like,
trying to bang her the whole time.
Yeah, I was just like,
oh my god.
Like, oh boy, I was like, John Byrne, I have a new thing to read at Christmas. So I'm gonna go, guys. Thank you as always, Steve. It was great having you here. Please come back for more readings and whatnot. But gentlemen, just let me know what we're reading next week, and I will catch you guys later.
Awesome.
See you, Drew. Dan Slott.
So I think that was a fun. I was kind of actually going to ask you guys, and he just did it anyway. Do you want to give if you had like one hope and dream for like a character to show up in She-Hulk by the end? So he picked the leader, which is a great one, super great one. I also agree. Do you guys want to do that?
Fan of MODOK. I would love to see MODOK, and not what they showed us.
That was rough. That hurt.
That would be very sad if that's what we.
No,
no.
Quantum Mania. There's a piece of art out there showing what MODOK supposedly looks like in the next Ant-Man and the Wasp movie, and it's not great. It's bad. It's really bad.
Really bad.
Yeah, really bad. Very, very disappointing.
Yeah.
But MODOK,
real, I will cry.
MODOK's a good one.
Yeah. I'd love to see the Ringmaster and the whole Circus of Crime. I think that'd be a great callback.
Yes, that'd be so good. Ruby Thursday, I want to see in live action. Come on.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, she's so good. She's just so damn good. Yes, that would be an amazing. I really do kind of wish they would do Silly Adventures where it was like just like the little mini runs we'd get in the comics. That's not what I saw.
No, that's not what I saw at all.
Okay, let me
That looks way better.
I would be fine with that.
Yeah, that looks fan-fucking-tastic.
Maybe
that was probably like fan made too, probably.
I don't know. I hope it's okay. I mean, I will say this, Marvel doesn't usually let me down with designs. Like Hawkeye, totally understand. I get it. Like as much as I love the classic costume, the ultimate costume just made more sense. But by and large, like I'm a pretty big fan of like all the translations for the costumes. There aren't too many. I mean, Star-Lord really like bummed me out with the way he looks. I really miss the helmet and stuff, but like clearly in the new one, he's gonna, that's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
So my hope was maybe that's him armored up and then it reveals his face. I don't know. That's awful. I hope it's not that. That would
like
be the worst.
Bad guy from Tron from 1978.
R.I.P. David Warner. Anyway, I'll pick my choice is just going to be the same one it always was, even though I don't think there's any chance it's going to happen now. But I'm just going to say Wolverine. I really was hoping that we would get Wolverine. We did get confirmation.
Yeah, me and Leo were talking that it would be kind of a cool way to introduce him into the whole universe with a little cameo at the end.
Yeah.
Little
I think
Canadian guy
I
walking
think
in.
it yeah, I think it at least needs to happen in a Hulk property.
Oh yeah.
So since this is the current Hulk property, I think it'd be cool to do that, just like put him into the world. So maybe that little like snippet from
Dude,
the
that would
website was like a clue that they're gonna do it, or maybe it's instead of having him show up.
It would also make all the people that are like, oh, I ain't gonna watch She-Hulk. They would have to watch
Yeah,
it.
Wolverine. I mean, but the thing that makes me really think like it's not going to happen is I don't think that we're going to see Banner back on Earth. I think he's gone now because
He's
of what
gone.
we've been hearing. You know, he's not going to go and have an adventure off screen and come back in the course of this show. I think that's it.
No.
So we're going to eventually see what happened when he goes back to Sakaar. So for me, it's like, well, do I want She-Hulk to fight Wolverine? No.
I wanted it to be
But I would like him to be like, even if you, like you said, Jeremy, if it's like a quick walk on screen and we see the actor for the first time and it's in the current Hulk proper thing, which is She-Hulk at this point. I think the time is right, and God damn it, please, when X-Men become a thing in the MCU, for God's sake, don't make Wolverine the star of all the freaking movies. Give him his own freaking show.
Let
just
him be on the team.
Wolverine's on TV. That's all we. It's a Wolverine show because it's the Wolverine show proper. Just let him, give him season after season, all Wolverine. Then
like the comic.
Like the original comics. When we get like I'm hoping it's going to be like, you know, uncanny feeling like team.
That would be so cool.
I mean, all I'm saying is the main character is Cyclops, period. And everybody else needs to be on the show.
Triangle out too. Like,
supporting cast is supporting. Then you also got to do Storm though. Storm needs her own thing because she's too big and too important. I was going to say, that's my 2 cents.
Coming back to She-Hulk.
Yes.
No.
Please. It's interesting as you were saying that. I was thinking that since we already have Titania and we know she's to be a fairly decent character in this, I could have sworn I heard a rumor that the Wrecking Crew was going to be in this.
Oh, that would be so
we get
cool.
Crusher Creel and the Wrecking Crew?
That would be so cool, yeah.
I hear they're going to be using Titania also for that, not Young
Thunderbolts?
Thunderbolts, yeah.
Thunderbolts would make sense, yeah. I mean, for sure, that was the 7 roommates that Blonsky was talking about. He's talking about the Thunderbolts for sure.
Yeah,
maybe, or the 7 lovely ladies.
No way, it's totally the Thunderbolts.
Abomination is swinging, baby. Now, Leo, this was the first time you read Sensational She-Hulk, correct?
Correct.
What's your impression? Because
what'd you think?
This was a classic.
Yeah.
And Jeremy, he hopefully is interested at least in reading it.
I was supposed to read it.
Yeah, hopefully now you're interested in reading it.
Yeah, now you're off the hook, so you don't have to. So
we're going to do the Dan slot next week. It'd be nice to have the foundation, right?
Oh yeah.
But Leo, what do you think?
It was a lot of fun. It's I love the artwork, but you know, it was just it was just goofy fun and absolutely, you know, I had a blast with it.
Okay,
next
and if
time you realize that you're really
the comic book versus the TV show, what do you think?
Well, the comic, it's hard to rate, you know, one against the other because we've only seen 2 episodes.
Just totally separately. Totally separately.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give the comic 4.75. I really enjoyed it in the show. You know, I'd have to give it, you know, same thing, 4.75. I'm really enjoying it. You know,
that's great.
Wow.
Well, strong.
Yeah,
it's going high with the show.
Well, you know me, I love everything, but you know.
And Jeremy, you've only seen the first episode, or you have seen?
I've seen both episodes.
You didn't read the comic. Where would you feel that the show rated at?
The show's I'm with Drew. I'm about a 3.5, but for totally different reasons. My whole thing is just I'm not moving fast enough. I need to know where we're going, and I don't feel the excitement. Like, don't get me wrong, I like it so far. I'm gonna keep watching, but just like the comics, it's not something that really interests me. Like if it was a She-Hulk movie, I wouldn't have gone to see it. Just like Black Widow, I didn't go see it. Like me, not my thing.
Well, so for me, I'm glad there's not a ton of action so far because that's hooking my wife into it. You know, she's not a big,
Yeah, I can't get the woman to watch anything superhero. I'm lucky to get the
Well,
Star Wars
same
TV
here, but
series.
I mean, she billed it as a lawyer show, so
You got away with that, huh?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sorry. As soon as the woman turns into a fucking She-Hulk, I'm like, yeah, I lost. I lose. This is not a lawyer show.
For character, you know, Jar Jar, as we talked about this weekend, I definitely I would love it if, obviously, you know, Steve, you know, if Wolverine makes an appearance. I think it's a strong possibility because we did see the article, and you know, maybe he needs a lawyer, you know, but maybe it's the last scene, and you know, somebody says, "Oh, you got a new client," and you don't even see who it is. All you see is, you know,
maybe the back of him.
I think it would be really great if she has to leave the city and go somewhere, and it happens elsewhere. So
you see the back of him with the old leather, with the little furry fucking collar on.
I still, you know, I want Hulk and Wolverine to fight the Wendigo. Is that like too much to ask?
That would be dope.
I mean, I don't feel like I'm asking that much. I mean, come on. I mean, it's happened in the cartoons, so
and he's got to be wearing the yellow suit.
Oh, yeah, of course, yellow and brown.
And at some point, the Hulk has to rip Wolverine in half and just throw him across the map.
I want them to be. I want them to be
somersaults right by it.
I want Hulk and Wolverine to be the odd couple of the MCU so bad.
Oh my god, if they were roommates,
like they just love each other, like eventually, but they hate each other for so long.
Oh my god, that is such a great idea.
Do you know how many people would hate that though? Like,
well, not literally the odd couple. I just mean like, you know, they initially have to have their first antagonistic relationship, but once that plays out, they can never like truly like each other, but they do. You know, like they kind of do though.
Oh my god, we have to do a voiceover like that, because that would be fucking hilarious. Last week, Steve, we our voiceover guest Charlie Schlatter didn't show up, so we ended up doing 2 or 3 scenes, and we just did like crazy, ridiculous voices, and it was fucking hilarious.
I can't wait. We need to do a whole show based around that.
Yeah. So now I can put that. Now I want to go pull out like scripts of the Odd Couple and do it as different superheroes.
I have our first guest. If we can, I think we can totally get him. Andrei Ivchenko. He's the dude from Stranger Things 3, and I want to do a scene with him from Princess Bride as him as why can I not say his name right now? Yeah, Inigo
He
Montoya.
said it a lot of times in that movie. I mean,
I know, and I'm like, it's a lot of the tincture tonight, but like with his voice, I think it would be an interesting change because he's got a Ukrainian, very thick accent, Ukrainian voice, and I think it would be so much fun to play him as that in like
Inigo. Nice.
Yeah, it would be just fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well,
and he's done voiceover for Call of Duty and stuff, so like he is a voiceover actor. Actually, I guess it's motion capture, motion action, or whatever they call that.
Mocap. So if I could rate the 2 things, I'm gonna rate Sensational She-Hulk, the John Byrne initial 8 issues. I gotta rate it a 5 because it's, I don't know if it really is a 5, but to me it is, because it's just one of my childhood, my big loves as far as runs. It was a early graphic novel that I bought, collected, because those weren't obviously as common back then. And I read it many times. I was so charmed by every bit of it. And ever since then, She-Hulk has been my #1 comic book lady. Absolutely, without question, #1 with a bullet. Always said that. And I think it's awesome that we got this show. I am enjoying the show quite a bit. The first episode I actually liked more than the second. I am getting this like it's too short, it's going too fast, we're missing some connective tissue there, kind of like what you said, Jeremy. I think you said it with jokes or cutting things. I wouldn't necessarily say it's only that. I think it's also there's just no breath. There's like, there's cuts. It's just too short. Like, how can we continue the scene a little bit? Like a couple more exchanges, maybe, like her and her dad. Like Cousin Larry. Loved seeing Cousin Larry.
Dude,
I thought he was
for real.
Thought he was so great as her dad. Loved it.
Endearing.
I was so happy. I was so happy.
Cool.
I was so happy when he pulled her aside into the garage and he's like, "Oh, I want you to help me with something." And then they get there and she's like, "Oh, what do you need?" And he's like, "No, I don't need anything. I just want to see how you were doing." Yeah. That was a really, really wonderful character moment for the two of them. And yet it still felt rushed. I appreciated that it was there because technically they could have not done that at all, but it still needed to breathe more. And I think even though it's a half-hour show, there's plenty of sitcoms that don't feel that way, So
I'm a wicked emotional guy, and I cry on the drop of a dime, and I'm not feeling that connection to anybody yet. Although I do love seeing Cousin Larry. Cousin Larry.
I do love the carryover of the Chad joke.
Yes. Yeah. Not actually a genius at all. No. So I would give the show, I would say, so I think 3.5 is a pretty fair rating at this point. We don't know that much. I'm going to say 4 just because I am such a fan that it's kind of pulling me a little bit closer. But, we'll see where we end up. I certainly don't think that they can go as bonkers with the show as John Byrne did. I do think that some of the fourth wall breaks have been gold and some of them have felt forced. So we'll see if it, finds its stride or not, whatever. I'm really proud of this podcast for not bitching about the CG. I think that's really awesome because it became such a sticking point for so long, and it's just one of those things like, can we just have things? Can we just like things for what they are? I don't know. Like it's, we know the trials and tribulations of these overworked VFX artists. It's a thing. Like, I always say this when I defend CGI, not that I prefer CGI. I love practical, but if you want to look at the best practical ever, or something like, The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, like, the puppets in that are like just about as good as you'll ever see. And the way that they worked up some of the gags in that and everything, it still looks like a puppet though. Like, I know it's a puppet. My brain tells me it's not real. It's a puppet. Like when the guy separates and his head looks all puppety, it's a puppet. Like, I love it, it's amazing. So just the fact that I can tell it's a puppet doesn't actually ruin it for me. It's fine. Like, it's a fucking puppet. Anyway, CG is the same kind of thing. Like, yeah, there's some that's real bad. There's some that it's like, oh god, I'm not gonna. You go back to Xena and you're like, wow, whoa,
Or you
real
go back to
bad.
The
first Hulk.
Or you go back to the first Hulk.
Oh yeah. Well, my go-to movie for lack of or no CGI is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The original was so good. Like, so good. That's just people in rubber suits, a fucking robotic
Jim
rat.
Henson, man.
That fucking rat. Like,
Splinter is so amazing in those first two movies. He looks great. He's just a puppet. It's amazing. Yep, I agree. I totally agree. But anyway, I think that the CG is hit or miss. And I think it's more hit than miss for me. But there are scenes where she looks more plasticky than other scenes. I don't know what to say. Like, they didn't polish that scene enough because they had to hand it in by midnight. I don't know. Like, it's fine. It's a non-issue for me. So I'm glad. I'm just gonna want to say I'm proud of everybody for, not ragging on that. I don't think that sort of a thing should color the quality of it. Like, clearly a lot of work went into it. Another thing I really hate when people dismiss something like that. Holy crap. A lot of freaking work went into what we have right now. There are people who, like, literally they lost so much sleep on their weekends, and you hear all these stories like you're just dismissing it and calling it a trash fire. Okay.
They're pumping out like 4 movies every like month.
come
Like,
on. They
incredible.
worked their asses off for this, and they had limitations. It's like when a video game comes out, but the studio rushed it too early. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, well, that sucks. It's bad forever. It's like, well, you should have worked on it for another 2 years, geniuses. Like, then it would have been the greatest thing ever. But, we don't always have that luxury. So, it is what it is.
And for me, as far as the book goes, I pretty much ditto everything you said, Steve. I mean, it is a 5.0 for me. I love the humor. I think it's brilliant. I think she's totally charming. I think it makes her character. It's what made me fall in love with She-Hulk. And it's brilliant in every possible aspect for me for the book. As far as the show goes, I'm probably leaning more toward a 4.0. Still, like you guys said, there's still so much more to come. We've only seen the introduction, and I'm excited to see it. So for the most part, the MCU has not let me down. Not everything has been perfect, but still way better than the DC universe has been. The DC EU, if you would be, which I guess is now dead and being revamped for the 8 millionth time, so we can go see.
I hope we keep Shazam
and Batman and Wonder Woman and the Flash all over again from the beginning, because that's what we want to see
Let's start with Shazam and Black Adam and go from there, and Doom Patrol, and let's keep friggin' Teen Titans.
I am having fun with
all
Doom
that
Patrol.
shit. I'm gonna focus on the James Gunn projects that are apparently still a go. And the Black Adam project, which I am excited about to see some classic DC characters with the Justice Society. And we'll see what happens. And we'll continue being nerds and watching nerd entertainment. And thank you again, Steve, for coming on the show. I really appreciate you coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me. It was a blast.
I thought we made a kind of a connection at Terrificon, and everything you said tonight makes me love you a little bit more. And
I feel like I'm being pushed out a little bit.
Oh, Jeremy, listen, man, don't even talk to me. I'm mad at you right now because you were cuddling with Leo all weekend, and the hotel thing at a con is supposed to be our thing. So fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck both of you. And Steve,
you're always invited, though.
And Steve, I'm kind of giving you a handy right up here through the show. Here, so.
Unnecessary, but appreciated.
You enjoyed that, sir.
All right. It was all right. It was okay.
Thank
you. Thank you very much.
It wasn't a John Byrne. I had to rush
it. Wasn't. 3.75.
I'll take it.
Well, we'll wrap it up. And I just want to say for all you youngins out there, that are complaining about, the Marvel or the bad CGI or anything. I remember in the 90s talking to a friend of mine saying all they need to do is get some acrobatic person to make like a Spider-Man movie. If we could only get a Spider-Man movie, and now look where we are now.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
When we came as kids,
spectacular even.
And if fans got their way, how many people did you hear personally say that, if they could just cast Triple H as Thor?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
God. That would not be good.
Well,
although
fans don't always know best.
John Cena has fucking blown my expectations of him away.
Like,
You would take a character that you hated and they turn it around and make it to be a character you love. I mean, that's
even more incredible. Like, freaking John Cena. I went in to watch a Suicide Squad. I'm like, okay, John Cena is in this, and never mind, that whole movie blew me away. Then you go to watch his show, and I'm just like, dude, I cried with freaking John Cena playing piano. I'm like, oh my god, that was.
He wasn't flying. He was doing face exercises.
Oh.
And I bet that's the first
space dust. Little gamma radiation in my eye there.
There you go.
And that's probably the first intro none of us fast forwarded through. You gotta watch that dance scene every single time.
Don't you hate being James Gunn's monkey? Don't you hate it when he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do this thing, and then you're gonna react this way, and you're like, fuck you, James Gunn. I don't have to fucking do what you tell me to, and then you do it anyway because he's fucking right. And he's good. God damn it!
It's on a run. Can't deny it.
Yeah. Well, on that note, I want to thank everybody for watching or listening this fine evening. For me, just Google Leo Pond. You find a bunch of stuff. You could be true, could be not. I'm not going to say which is which, but I run a Dorkening podcast network. There's a ton of awesome shows doing a ton of awesome stuff. Head on over to thedorkening.com, which you can see all the latest episodes of all the episodes there, of all the shows. And Steve, where do you like people interacting with you?
Interact with me on Facebook. Steve Van Sampson is my page. Go to Retro Redoctopus. We have a really lively group. It's a really fun place to hang out. Retro Redoctopus. Going to say the name a couple more times. Redoctopus. It's just the word octopus with R-I-D in front of it and retro in front of that. We talk about all things that made growing up awesome. We have a podcast on the Dorkening, of course, and we put out new episodes every week or two the most. We call it Tentacle Tuesday, always out on Tuesday. And you can also interact with us, either me, Steve Van Sampson, or Retro Redoctopus on Twitter as well. Just do a little search, you'll find us. My new book, Black Honey and Other Unsavory Things, is coming out this fall from Rough House Publishing. It is a horror anthology. There's lots of really creepy, crazy crap, and you can see like the shit I think about and read it if you want. I don't know. I hear it's pretty good. So check it out. And thanks for having me on, guys. And I'll see you guys later.
Sounds good. Jar Jar.
Hey, first, Steve, make sure you tag me in those when you share those, so I can share them through my group, Comic Book Lovers Buy, Sell, Trade, and Auction House, on Facebook. And then also send me a link to your group so I can join that and also share it in my group. And, on Leo's note, you can find one of or both of us at a Tidewater Horror Con is September 9th, 10th, and 11th at the Wyndham Garden Hotel in Norfolk, Virginia. Less than 10 days. Hold on. Ken Faree will be there. Michael Hargrove, CJ Graham, Tom Matthews, Beverly Randolph, Tony Moran, PJ Souls, Andre Ivchenko, Tom Glynn, and AJ Stone. I would go into everything they all do, but there's like only so much time. If you want to buy comics online, start a poll. Check out Box O Comics. That's with an X at the end of comics. And that's about it.
Awesome. Velvet, close us out.
Hey, it's me, Rich Davis on Facebook, also known here as the Velvet Joker. I am the Throwback King. And you can find me here every Tuesday on Splash Pages, a comic book club podcast, which is award-winning, of course. And I don't know, do you want to interact with me? I guess you can on the Gram, Velvet Joker, or on the TikTok, Velvet Joker 1 at TikTok.com, as I'm starting to develop some content to get it out there for you guys. And we love you guys. Thanks for tuning in, seeing all of our craziness. And we love you, and have a great week.
Catch you guys later.
Peace out.